Welcome to Keeping Tabs. I'm Tabitha Croc, and every Monday, I talk to someone here in North Idaho with the goal to connect more people in the Coeur d'Alene area. And then every Friday, I talk to someone outside the community to bring in a new perspective and to learn a little bit about yourself. Do you love the Pacific Northwest as much as I do and want to show it off everywhere you go? I have the best apparel for you. Go to Forever Green PNW. So that's Forever ERGRNPNW.com or on their social media and go check them out. They have the best apparel. They have sweatshirts, they have hoodies, they have tees, they have swimsuits. They've got all kinds of great things to represent the Pacific Northwest. And they also are doing something really cool, little deals with their hoodies. So go check out them. They're fantastic and have a fantastic day. All right, I am back. I took a little hiatus and I have an amazing guest today. I have Mary, a good friend of mine. And I was at last year, you were like, hey, I want to run this idea by you, and we're going to get a little more into that. But first, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you're doing here in North Idaho.
Okay. Hi. Let's see here. I have lived in Idaho for, I think we're like almost at 15-year mark living in Idaho. Grew up in Montana, so Montana girl through and through. And I have two kids. I have a 14-year-old daughter and oh my gosh, is she 11 or 12? I think she's almost 12. I always do that. I can never, poor Josie, I never remember how old she is. And husband, and we love Idaho. We love the outdoors. We love to camp. We love anything and everything to do with being outside and all that jazz. So I like to say we get back to Montana as often as we possibly can. My family still lives there, has been there since the 1930s. And so it just runs in our blood. Even my girls just consider themselves to be Montana folk. So
I agree. I'm going to take that one too. I'm born and raised Idaho, but going to college and living in Montana for so long that you're kind of like, yeah, but I'm a little bit Montana, a little bit Idaho.
It's a good blend. It's a good mix.
I agree. So what do you do for work, and who do you work for, and what do you do?
Okay. So I work for Simcoe Development Group, and what I do, oh man.
Everything?
I like to say I made my own title. I like to say I just make the company look good. From an outsider looking in. So, the marketing piece to the HR to the safety and everything except for bookkeeping. That is not my job.
And yeah, I mean, that's really like when you were saying like you want it to look good, is that you like one of the reasons you and I have talked about some stuff is you sponsored some of like nonprofit events. Yes. So you do things like that as well, which I think is great that you guys are really devoted in giving back to the community as well.
Yes, huge in on the community. There's been so much growth in our community, but we have, and I think this comes from also just being small town people also, is you just have that instilled in your heart to just take care of your locals. And that piece of it is just so important to everybody at Simcoe, and that family aspect, and just being a really big advocate for other businesses in the community too. So
I love that. So I know what you do, but if someone's listening, they're like, well, what is Simcoe? What does it even do?
Right. You're right. Simcoe, we are an excavation company. So residential and commercial digs, and digs and rock walls and all of that jazz. So excavation as a whole. And then what's awesome is that in our office, we actually do have we have multiple companies running throughout our office, because after Simcoe started, then came Advanced Septic and Excavation. And so that's the septic side of things. And now added on another side of things called MBC. And this is a siding company. So
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Couple weeks ago, just added that little nugget in. So it's something that's just getting off the ground and running. But one of the cool things about being in an office like Simcoe is we are all big thinkers and doers. And so when we see an opportunity, then we roll with it all together.
That is amazing. So this is a great segue into why I wanted to bring you on the podcast. Mary's doing something really fantastic. We met for lunch. She was like, hey, run events. I want to pick your brain out a few things. I'm going to run this idea by you. And it was so cool because she's bringing something to the Coeur d'Alene, Hayden, Post Falls, to the North Idaho area that really isn't done yet. So tell us a little more about this Complete Builders Expo that you're putting on next week.
Next week, 10 days away. I just asked Surrey a little bit ago. How many days? It's 10. So the Complete Homebuilders Expo, this was an idea that came about a couple years ago. And we kind of put it on the back burner because of all the happenings, and getting together in big groups like this wasn't a thing for a little bit there. But the Complete Homebuilders Expo, what we see in the community is this opportunity for people to really see what's going on in the construction industry, in the home building industry. And there are so many local companies that in my opinion, just need to be featured, that people need to see. And so the idea being that if you are looking to build a home in the next year or few years, you might not know what it takes or what all the steps are, or even if you have a little bit of an idea, then there's so much that comes even after the build, like blinds and fencing and things that maybe you don't think of until after the fact. And so the event itself is featuring local businesses in our area that have something to do with the process, anything to do with the process of home building. So you're going to find, we have just over 30 vendors, and you're going to find vendors there from your financing to real estate, and then, landscaping and, your windows, and just everything that you can imagine that needs to happen during the home building process.
That's so cool. When you told me that, I was like, that is genius, because even if it's a local person that just is like, I have a piece of property, I want to build a home, what do I do next? And you can feel totally lost. And you're like, whether it's reaching out to a realtor, whether it's reaching out to a builder, whatever it is, I think it's great that you're bringing everybody in one room.
Yeah, it was really exciting to get going on the process too, because as we're like making the list of like, who do we want to be there? It really does feel like just like the ultimate referral list. Like if you came to me today and said, hey, who should I call for curbing? I'd be like, oh, this guy. But now you get to come and you get to meet him face to face. You get some options in some areas like financing, where sometimes it's kind of one of those things that could turn into you just check the box because it just happens to be the first bank that you go into. But what if your personality matches with somebody else better? What if when you walk in there, they have the same vision as you, and so they can really help you see out your dreams better than just like checking off a box because that's just the place that you happen to go. So it's just kind of taking it to that next level of being able to really meet who's in our community and who can help you. And like I said, matching that personality and vision with you at the same time.
Yeah. Is there like an interesting, vendor you have that, maybe you stumbled upon, you're like, oh my gosh, didn't even think about that. Is there any of those that have popped up in this process?
Actually, so I am probably the world's, oh my goodness, how do I put this? I love to purchase things. I love to, if somebody presents me with something, I am a yes person. I am all in. So this whole process has been really fun for me personally, because every person that I get a call from or that I call, I'm like, yeah, and I need that in my house. So the one that really strikes me is we have Croc Coatings coming, and they do it's like epoxy, but it's 4 times stronger than epoxy. So they can coat like back patios, garage floors, that kind of thing. And I am so excited to see what they're bringing to the event too. And like I said, I'm like, oh man, I need them at my house. We have a really awesome back patio. So
Oh yeah, how's your husband dealing with all these things, these to-do lists now that you have?
he's like, pump the brakes a little, but yeah.
You're like, I'm a yes woman.
I am. He used to say if somebody showed up at our house selling dog poo, I would totally buy it just because I just love that sales interaction.
I know you're so good at it too. And you have the energy, which is really cool. And I mean, have you had a pretty positive response? When you reach out to people, this can be like daunting. Like it's a lot to do. I mean, you've reached out to me a couple of times. I know you probably reached out a ton of your connections. Like who do I contact? Who do I not contact?
Yes.
How's that whole process been for you?
I mean, I feel really blessed that I do have a large background in sales. And so I knew, kind of what to expect as far as like, because, to be totally honest, there are a lot of people out there that are so busy. They're so busy that they can't even take a Saturday to be able to do something like this. And so being able to find that mix between, yes, I know you're busy, but yes, I know this market isn't going to last forever. So let me help you stay ahead of this as well. That was a huge piece of it for us, is like, yeah, we know everybody is extremely busy, but it won't be like this forever. And so that marketing side of my brain, matching that sales side of my brain of being like, it's okay to hear the word no. It's okay.
Yeah.
It is like, no means next. And if it's not the right time for them, that's okay. It doesn't have anything to do with me or whatever. Like just not taking it personally is the biggest thing.
I don't know if you're like me, but I'd rather hear no any day over like a maybe or like, hey, let me think about it. I'm like, just, I love to hear that. And you're like you said, it's a next. It's like, all right, moving on, veering, what do I do next?
Yeah, absolutely. The people that say no to me, I'm like grateful. I'm grateful for your no, because I would rather hear that than nothing at all. Like it helps me just keep this train moving. Yes.
Yep, I agree. So it's kind of a multi-day event in the way that I think you're doing a cocktail thing. What does the whole event from start to finish kind of look like?
Yeah. So Friday is when we're doing vendor setup. So super excited about vendor setup, because then after vendor setup, we're doing just a vendor only networking night. So again, just another opportunity for us to support these other local businesses, and that we know how important networking is. We know how important it is to be able to have conversations with other business owners, whether you're talking about, moving forward and forging ahead and different ideas, or just that connection of like, wait, I can help you, you can help me. I might need some of your work, you might need some of mine, kind of thing. So we're going to do beer, wine, and music that evening after we're all done setting up. And then the day of the event, so the event is January 15th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. That morning, we have a Lego building competition for kids in our area to be able to, there's 3 different age brackets, and they'll be able to enter in a Lego build that they made at home. So they'll come in that morning to enter in their home builds, and I'll have all my vendors the voting on those. And then we will also have a raffle that day. And the raffle, we have really awesome raffle prizes. I can't think of all off the top of my head, but a couple of them. We have some free curbing. We have a load of gravel.
All the good things.
All the good things. And the proceeds from the raffle are actually going to go to a local family whose 5-year-old daughter is battling cancer.
Oh, okay.
So we are just so excited about every little piece of the event just coming together. So
that's really cool. I love the Lego piece. I used to work for Boys and Girls Club, and I would have, I don't know if you've reached out to the Boys and Girls Club, but there is so many kids that would freak out over this. Because I would have kids like make life size, like the most amazing things that kids can make out of Lego. So I'm really pumped to see what kids create.
Yes. I'm stoked about the Lego piece too, because I didn't just leave it as just Legos. So you can just start with a Lego build, and then maybe you have some fresh moss you want to glue on the outside of it, or, just like getting super creative and using the things that you have at your house too, so that these parents don't feel like you have to go out and buy a bunch of Legos. Just give me a Lego base and then add on some graham crackers and Lincoln Logs, or I don't even know. Something. So whatever you have at home, and just make your house.
So we also didn't say it is at the fairgrounds, correct?
Yes, the Jacqueline building at the fairgrounds. Yes.
Perfect. And so what's the fee to go to this? And do the kids have to register to put their money in or put their Legos in? Is there any fees for people?
No fees for people, free parking, free to get in the door, free to enter the Lego competition, just totally free. That was a huge heart thing for me, to just be like, I know, middle of winter, we want things to do that don't cost money. So come and just enjoy the freeness of it. And then there obviously will be a cost for the raffle, for the raffle prize, but everything else is free. And as far as the Lego competition goes, we'll have registration just at the door. So we can just grab a snippet of information once you walk in, and then we'll get you registered that way, but nothing beforehand.
Well, and I love the money you are taking for the raffle is just going back to a family in our community that really needs this at this time. So I think that's great that even though you're collecting money for something, it's still going back to someone great in the community, which is, you guys are just fantastic for that.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
So I have a couple fun questions for you.
Okay.
I do know how great and fantastic you are, but I want to know a little more. I might know this answer. So what is your favorite or go-to restaurant in the North Idaho, Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls area?
Okay, it's between two, but
I'm guessing one of them. I think I know one.
Okay, if I'm gonna be in Coeur d'Alene, I'm going to the Bluebird all day, every day.
I knew it.
We love the Bluebird.
Did you guys have your company party there?
Yes, we did.
That's what I thought.
They just treat us right at the Bluebird. We got one of their wine boxes because it's amazing, and the food is always so good. So love the Bluebird. Bluebird to me is more dinner. So if I'm going to go grab lunch somewhere, then I'll go to Izzy's.
Oh yes, and you guys did that thing the other day, which I think was so cool. I got invited. So what they did, I think it's great. They, right before the holidays, they picked a restaurant. Everyone just like brought $100, $50 or whatever it was, paid for their meal, but they gave the rest to the waitress, right?
Yep. And it was so cool. I was like, I left there, and so we didn't intend for her to see it beforehand. It was one of those things where you are like Santa Claus, you leave it and you go, but that didn't happen. So she saw it, she came back, she had tears, she was so happy. And then like immediately I'm like, okay, guys, let's go somewhere else and do it again.
Everyone's like, all right, how much money we spending today?
Seriously, I'm like, everybody needs a second job just to be able to donate it back to somebody.
Oh, that's awesome. So favorite book, or maybe book you're reading at the moment, because I know you're also a reader, aren't you?
Yeah. Yes, major reader. Gosh. Okay, so I just finished a couple books that I really love right now. I'll go personal development and just for fun. There we go. So fun book. I just read November 9th by Colleen Hoover. Super quick read, super good, all over the place. Just, oh, it's so good. Colleen Hoover is so good for the fun reads. And then two personal development books that are just fresh on my brain because I just finished them both. One of them being The Observer's Chair by Dave Blanchard. Have you ever read it? It's a short little... I read it on January 1st, just start to finish, just because it's a great way to start your year. Really cool. It's about basically kind of stepping outside, having like almost like an out-of-body experience and sitting in the observer's chair of your life, because thinking that you are not your thoughts, but you can become your thoughts. So you get to choose your thoughts. Mm-hmm. So when you're observing your life from that outsider's perspective of being able to choose those thoughts. So really really cool principles in that book. And then the other one is Mel Robbins, The High Five Habit. Have you read that one?
Yes.
Yep. I just love the simplicity of it. Just like high-fiving yourself, and the foundation for your growth and like who you are can come from celebrating yourself first, which is like literally my life's motto of celebrate everything. Celebrate your day. You don't have to wait for your birthday or your funeral to be celebrated. Make sure that everything in between is being celebrated. And so I just love that little simple habit of reminding yourself that you're doing something good every single day. You just have to choose to see it and celebrate it. And then it just grows from there.
I love that. And so are you reading anything currently?
I am picking up next, probably. It's called, it's another book by Dave Blanchard. Oh my gosh, why can't I think of the name of it? I can see it. It's a blue cover.
And then we know the author. It's perfect.
Yep. Day in Your New Life or something like that.
Okay.
Something along those lines.
So
yes.
You said you had read that book January 1st, kind of like to kick off your new year. Do you do New Year's resolutions or New Year's goals or intentions or anything like that?
I mean, yes and no. I'm such a goal-oriented person that it's just like a constant, ever evolving thing in my life. So, I would say that I take kind of the new year and that freshness of the new year to just do a lot of reflection and reflect back on the previous year. And I wouldn't say that I have like a new year, this is what I'm going to do this year kind of thing, because I always constantly have that going, but I really take that time to be just reflect.
I love that. I think that's very important. And gosh, I just want to be like one of your kids or live in your house with all your positivity and like you want to celebrate. I'm like, we can celebrate whenever time you want to.
Every day, literally. I maybe I overdo it sometimes, but I don't even care. It's just I've had some really close people in my life pass away, and every time I'm just like, I hope that every time somebody has somebody in their life pass away, that you didn't wait until after they passed away to tell them how you felt about them or to live a celebrated life with them, and for yourself as well. It's just something that is just so dear to me that you just, I've seen like memes recently about like the awkwardness of like telling people that you love them, like make it awkward, but dang it, celebrate people all the time. Your celebration is your momentum in life. You have to have it.
That kind of leads me to the next thing. What is the legacy you want to leave for your kids?
That positivity, that everything and anything that they see in their life can be as awesome as they make it. And just being able to celebrate themselves, that they always have that foundation of knowing like who they are and staying true to that, and just loving that within themselves always.
Yes, preach. So, like one more go back right back to the expo. If someone is listening and hearing this and they're like, this is exactly the thing I need to attend, is there anything else they need to know besides where it's at, the time, anything you need to let people know about the expo or how to get involved? I see you have tons of amazing sponsors. That's very exciting as well.
Yes.
So anything you'd like to talk last about the expo?
Yes. So Jacqueline Building at the fairgrounds, January 15th, 10 to 6. We have an Instagram page and an event on Facebook, so you can follow along in both of those. The Instagram is Complete Homebuilder Expo. I think you should be able to just search that on Facebook too and find me on there. And if you have questions about the Lego building competition, you can always email me, which is mary@simcodg, as in developmentgroup.com.
Perfect.
Yes.
So I'd like to ask one last question to everybody, especially going into the new year. 2020 and 2021 have been a little rough. What is a piece of positive advice, maybe someone's struggling right now, that you could give to someone that is needing a little bit of that positivity?
I think just knowing that the last couple of years, if it's been hard, if it's been awful, if it's been the worst couple of years of your life, whatever it is, just knowing that you can reflect back and that it's in the past and that you get to choose every single day and every single step moving forward. And maybe you don't know what the whole picture looks like, but maybe you know what your next best step is. And every time you take that next best step, it leads you into that whole year process of having just an awesome year ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be a good year.
It is. It's going to be a really good year.
It's going to be the best one.
It is.
Yes. Well, I'm really excited. So thank you so much again for coming and chatting with us. And good luck with the expo this next week.
Thanks for listening to Keeping Tabs. I'm Tabitha Croc, and every Monday I release a podcast about different community members here in North Idaho. And then we end the weeks on Fridays with a podcast about the things I'm passionate about: outdoors, adventures, sports, the van life, and even current events. So if you like what you heard, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube, Spotify, or iTunes. Thank you again. Now go be kind and do something great.